This is a University of Otago podcast.
Cool. All right, so we're going to go on to the next talk in the session, and that's going to be by Cindy Cheakhun, and what we know about uric acid and its implications. So you want to take it away?
Yep. Is this on?
It is on.
Okay, awesome. So hi, I'm Cindy, and I'm an honours student in the Department of Physiology, and my supervisors are Dr. Andrew Barn and Rajesh Katari. So we know that uric acid causes gout, but does it also change the success of stem cell therapy? So the heart used to be thought of as this organ that once it was damaged, you couldn't repair it. But recently it's been found that there are cardiac stem cells. So stem cells are these cells that can basically almost continuously divide and increase in number, and they can also differentiate, which means they can develop into different cell types. So cardiac stem cells in particular can turn into cardiomyocytes here, which are basically cardiac muscle cells, and they're required for the heart to beat. And there's also smooth muscle cells and endothelial cells, which basically just form the blood vessels. So although there is the presence of cardiac stem cells found, they can't actually replace all the damaged tissue and large amounts of damage, such as in a heart attack. So there is a big studies on stem cell therapy, where they take these stem cells and they grow them outside of the body, and then they place it back into the heart. But however, there's not much known about stem cell therapy currently, and also attempts have been pretty unsuccessful. And we think this is because the environment that you take it out of and then you put back into is different, and this is because when there has been cardiac events such as a heart attack, it can cause the environment of the heart to change as there's no longer oxygen and nutrients, and the cells just die. So that the environment that these cells live in is just basically what surrounds these cells. We think that this changes how these cells act, and changes in this environment, such as in diabetes mellitus, which can cause hyperglycemia, which is increased glucose, hyperlipidemia, which is increased fatty acids, and hyperuricemia, which is increased uric acid, can change these cells. For those who don't know what uric acid is, if you've ever seen bird poo, that is crystallized uric acid. So the body needs energy to basically function, and uric acid is just a waste product of energy consumption. So uric acid can enter the body through the diet, especially through high purine and high fructose diets, basically just everything that we enjoy to eat. So sugary drinks, seafood, red meat, and those beers on a Saturday night. So we know that uric acid causes gout, which is the inflammation of joints due to an accumulation of uric acid, causing crystallization. But we also think that uric acid can have several different effects on different cell types. So we're particularly interested in stem cells, as we have seen that diabetes mellitus can cause a change in proliferation, which is cell growth, differentiation, cell development, and apoptosis, which is cell death. And we think this is due to uric acid. So we want to develop a model for uric acid homeostasis. So first of all, homeostasis is basically just a balance in the body, which is basically required. So for example, when you drink heaps of water, you have to pee it out, because otherwise there's an accumulation of water in the body, and this can actually lead to death. So we want to look at homeostasis at the cellular level. So we want to see how a change in the balance of uric acid in these cells, particularly cardiac stem cells, as this has never been looked at before. So first of all, we want to see the extracellular uric acid, which is basically just the amount of uric acid that surrounds these cells, and it changes depending on your diet, as uric acid can enter your bloodstream and therefore change the environment that these cells are in. Then we want to look at the intracellular uric acid, which is just the amount of uric acid inside these cells. So for a balance to be maintained, we think that there are transporters, which are just proteins that allow uric acid into the cell or out of the cell. And we also think that there may be this enzyme called xanthine oxidase, which is required for the production of uric acid. So how does a change in the balance of uric acid affect these stem cells? So we want to address this question by a series of planned experiments that I'll be conducting throughout the year. So we've got some cardiac stem cells from some patients from the Dunedin Hospital. And first of all, we'll measure the amount of uric acid outside the cell and inside the cell. And then we're going to try see if there are these proteins that the cells have that allow the entry of uric acid and the exit of uric acid, and also xanthine oxidase, that enzyme I just talked about. And then to see if these cells are changed by a change in balance, we will also change the extracellular uric acid. So this is basically like when you drink too many sugary drinks and increase the amount of uric acid. And then we also want to measure the amount of uric acid inside these cells. And then, of course, to see if this has changed, if the cells are reacting to this, we will look at proliferation, cell growth, differentiation, cell development, and apoptosis, cell death. So these are some preliminary results that we got. So we used qPCR, which measures mRNA. So everyone knows that DNA is the blueprint of the body, which basically codes for everything. And then mRNA is the transcript. So this means that if a cell has this mRNA, it has the ability to make these proteins. So we have actually found in several patients that there is this glutenine, which allows uric acid into the cell, and then ABCG2 and MRP4, which allow the exit of uric acid. We also looked at these other transporters, but we did not detect them. Because we also know that they're in kidney, which is the primary place for uric acid transport. However, in cardiac stem cells, we believe that only these three are involved in the balance of uric acid. So some potential outcomes from this research is that we gain an understanding of how a change in the balance of uric acid alters how cardiac stem cells behave. So if we see that the cardiac stem cells are being affected by this environment they live in, it's just not beneficial for us to place them back into a toxic environment if they're just going to die once you place them back into the heart. So if we can understand the environment that we need them to be at, then we can try alter this environment by just a change in diet of the patients, and this therefore will hopefully increase the efficiency of stem cell therapy and therefore give a better outcome for patients with heart disease. Thank you.
Cool, excellent. Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions about uric acid? No? I have a question.
You have a question?
What is your prediction, right? So you think there's three possible outcomes of differentiation or apoptosis or...
So we think it affects all of it. Okay. So we think that uric acid will prevent the cells from growing properly. We think that it will actually increase cell death, and we think that it will prevent them from differentiating into those three different types that we want them to differentiate into. Okay. Yeah.
The other question is there a correlation between people who have, say, gout and heart disease?
I think there is. Well, we see that people with heart disease have increased levels of uric acid. So we believe that there is a correlation between it, and that's why we're looking at it.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.